Let's talk about Fulton County District Attorney Fani Willis. She is now urging the judge in the case, Scott McAfee, to hold stricter standards to disqualify her, if he is to do so, in connection to the Trump election interference case she brought in Georgia. Willis telling Judge McAfee, quote, "Every Georgia case that has addressed the issue has reached the same conclusion. In order to authorize a trial court to disqualify an elected district attorney, an actual conflict of interest must be proven. No prosecutor," she writes, in this state has ever been disqualified on the appearance of a conflict. Here's somebody who may have a lot to say about that. Alan Dershowitz, Professor Emeritus at Harvard Law School, joins us. He's also the author of Get Trump. Professor Dershowitz, a pleasure to have you. Fani Willis, you told me last week there should be a special prosecutor to investigate her. What do you think of this recent twist here where she's saying the appearance isn't enough to disqualify her? Do you think she has any weight in this argument?
She's trying to put pressure on the judge to find only that there was an appearance and then say that wasn't enough. But even if you need an actual conflict, it's there. The evidence is overwhelming. The evidence is overwhelming that they had an affair before she hired him. The evidence is overwhelming that she benefited financially from it. The evidence is overwhelming that he was not qualified to do the job and earn $700,000. This ought to be a criminal investigation of Fani Willis and the two witnesses. I think we're well beyond disqualification, but I don't know whether the judge will have the courage to actually look and say, I believe you committed perjury. I believe you committed obstruction of justice. I believe you tampered with witnesses. I believe you conspired to commit perjury. That would be the right result. But if the judge doesn't have the courage to do that and falls back on an appearance of conflict, then she's making the legal argument that's not enough. I hope the judge.
Well, you talked about pressure coming up later in the broadcast. There's someone who may be entering the re-election re-election against Scott McAfee, so that could be more pressure. We'll talk with him actually a bit later on. Professor Dershowitz, while we have you, I'd like your reaction to Special Counsel Jack Smith yesterday put in a filing saying that Trump is bringing a frivolous claim of presidential immunity in his case, accusing him of classified documents mishandling. We know that immunity is before the Supreme Court, who was there when Biden was saying some threatening words last night in the chambers. What do you make of Smith saying this is frivolous? It seems like it's not frivolous to the Supreme Court.
It's not frivolous to the Supreme Court. It's not frivolous to the judge in Florida. It's certainly not privileged to me. I'm pretty much an expert on these issues. I've been teaching them litigation here. And I would have been proud to sign my name to any pleading of that kind, because it's not frivolous. It raises very serious issues. I can't predict for you how the Supreme Court will come down on the immunity, but I think very likely it will come down with a reasoned decision, splitting the difference, giving the president some immunity, but not as much as he wanted, and certainly more than what Jack Smith wanted. There's also the issue of whether Smith was qualified to serve as a special counsel. And that issue is now being litigated in Florida as well. So there's nothing frivolous here. These are serious issues that ought to be resolved in the normal course of events.
And on the flip side, Hur found, even though he was a civilian, that they were not going to bring any criminal charges against sitting President Biden. And we came in off the top of the show talking about how this subpoena didn't produce enough documents according to the judiciary, and now Hur's testimony is scheduled for next week. We don't know. It could be pushed back. It seems like, again, a case of stonewalling when the people say that we have clearance here. We are members of Congress. We have authority to look at exactly what Hur and Biden talked about in this transcript and this sit-down interview.
Well, I think that's an issue that will have to be resolved. Also, look, everybody is playing the calendar here. Everybody is saying, you know, it's too fast, it's too slow. We have to make sure that we don't allow the criminal justice system or any justice system to be politicized. And there has to be one rule for everybody. And this case should be handled in the normal course of events without the thumb of the political election coming up determining its outcome. Judges and prosecutors shouldn't be determining the outcome of an election. The election should be decided by the voters, and I hope that will happen.